Hello, this is the Cobra M46SPC, which is an 18-inch self-propelled rotary mower. And this is the box it will arrive in for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up and show you how easy it is to put it together so that you can start mowing your lawn. So we just need to take all the contents out there. It's been packed really well so that nothing gets damaged in transit. So the first thing out is the grass collection box. So we just need to get rid of all the packing, the bubble wrap and everything that's holding it into place. And of course, we need to make sure that we take out the manual instruction and any parts, any clips or screws that are in there that we need. So we're going to hang on to those and then we can start assembling it and putting it together. So this is the mower and it's very easy to assemble and put together. Of course, everything is in the owner's manual, so please do refer to that. But basically what it comprises of is we've got to get the handlebars in position and make sure they're tightened up, and then we're going to fuel it up with petrol and oil. But we're going to start with the handlebars. Very simple to do. All you need to do this is a 13mm spanner, and at the side we've got some brackets where they're going to fix. And what we need to do is to take off the nuts. Now at this point they're only finger tight, so you don't need the spanner until we come to put them back on and tighten them up. So we've got two at this side which we can take off, and then we've got two on the opposite side. So just take them off and keep the washers and everything safe, because we'll need those in a couple of minutes time. So now we can start to assemble the handlebar. So it just needs lifting up where it's been folded down in transit. And before we can connect it, on the ends here we've got some plastic protectors. So we just need to slide those off, one on either side, like so. We don't need those again. And then it's a case of lining up with the bracket here, the square holes. And that's how we're going to fix it. And then using the bolts, put the two bolts back in position, and the bolts have got a square end on them, so that means that they won't twist when they're in the hole. So just a bit of a wiggle, put that in place, and then if you put your thumb on the end of it, we can then put on the flat washer first, and then we can put on split washer like that, and then the hexagonal bolt. And at this stage we're just going to do them finger tight until we've got them all in. So I can repeat the same now on the top, the flat washer, the spring washer, and then finger tight with the bolt. So that's that side in place, and then we just repeat that on this side. So again, it's making sure that everything is lined up and we can push our bolts through from the inside out, and then just repeat flat washer, spring washer, and a bolt. So again, just finger tight to start with, and then the last one on there. And then what we can do is we can then get our 13mm spanner and we can make sure that everything is nice and tight. So it's just tighten those up, and because we've got the spring washer on there, there's a bit of tension on them, so it means that they won't vibrate off when we're mowing. So that's important that they stay nice, tight and secure. So that's that side done. And then if I just lean across here, we can just tighten those up that way. So it really is that simple, just to put on the handlebars like that. So just give them a tweak so that they're nice and tight. So that's it. So that's those fixed firmly in place. So now we can finish putting the handles on. So this pivots at this point, so we're just going to make sure that we don't trap any cables. So here we've got the various cables which I'll tell you about in a second. So we're just going to feed that one over there, so they're in place like that. And then to lock these in place, we don't have to do any adjusting. We've just got this lever here, and if we pull it in tight, it clamps the two together there. And that's the quick release. If you want to fold this handle down for storage, we just release these, and then it folds down back over to the engine. So really easy to fix those. The other thing we need to do here with the cables is just to stop them moving about, is there are a couple of clips that come with it. So these are really easy to fit. The easiest way is to actually put the cables inside the clips first, and they will clip into the little recesses there, and then we can just simply clip that down into place, and that's held those there nice and firm, and just they will pull through if you need to adjust them. So this cable again, we're just going to fix to this handle. So again, it's pop it on, it's going to sit in the middle there, and just put a bit of pressure on there, and that clicks on nicely. So again, that one is nice and tied in, it's not going to get in the way. So that is basically it. That is the mower assembled. Handles are nice and firmly in place. So what we've got to do now is make sure the engine is ready to start. So to do that, we need to get some fuel in it, which is unleaded petrol, and we need to make sure it's topped up with oil. So we'll start with the oil, and the oil is provided with the mower, so you haven't got to worry about that. This mower needs 0.6 of a litre, so the whole bottle is going to go in. This is the oil filler here. It's got that on just to tell you how to do it. And we take off the yellow filler cap, which is also the dipstick. So that's what we use to check the levels afterwards, and it's just simply a case of pouring the oil nice and slowly in there. It's quite a large opening, so you don't need a funnel, but you can use one if you want. But we're just going to gradually pour all of that in there, and that will then fill the sump. There we go. So that's it, 0.6 of a litre. And it's important that we get the right amount of oil in there. If we don't put enough oil in and it's too low, then that can seriously damage the engine as well. It can wear the parts and even seize up if it's very, very low. So what we can do, of course, is to check with the dipstick. So once the engine oil has just settled down into the sump, it only needs a minute or so just to drain down to the base. We can put in the dipstick, just going to screw the oil cap on so that the base of the dipstick is in contact with the oil, and then we can take it out, and we should be able to see the oil level on there. And as I can see, the oil level is just there where my finger is to the top of that little hatched bit. So that tells us we've got enough oil in there. So that is perfectly okay. And next we need to put some petrol in, and this is unleaded. So the filler cap is here on the top. So take that off, and we've got the petrol in a can. So pop the funnel in. Unleaded petrol, always use fresh petrol. Don't use anything that's stale that you've had in a can for months and months. The engine runs much better and starts better with fresh petrol. So let's put some petrol in there. We don't have to fill it up at this stage, but just enough to start. So that's it. So with the fuel in there and the oil, the engine is now ready. So we can lift it down off the bench and we can go through the starting procedure. So just to have a quick look at the controls, just to familiarise yourself with the mower. This mower has got a choke on it. So here we have the throttle and choke lever. So when we want to start it, the lever needs to be up, and it tells us there that the choke there is going to be closed, which is what we want. So that would be a starting position. And then we've got two levers here. The first one at the front is the engine brake lever, and that needs to be held in all the time to keep the engine running, and as soon as you release it, the engine stops. So it's a safety feature for the mower. And the second lever, the one at the back, we use when we want to propel the mower forward. This drives the rear wheels. So the blades will be spinning, but we pull that one in and then the mower takes off. So this mower has a recoil start. It's got a pull cord here. So in order to get this in position, if we put in the engine brake lever, that just takes off some of the compression from the engine, and then we can just slowly pull that out and it just clips in just here. So now that's in the position for pulling it when we're standing at the mower. So we're ready to go. What we need to do, of course, is to put on our grass collection box. That's easily fixed at the back. We lift the flap and then that just hooks on. Very, very simple. So it's easy to take on and off when you're mowing, and then this flap holds that in place. So we're ready to go. But one final thing is just to make it easier to start the mower. It's a good idea always to raise the height of cut, and then we can lower it, of course, when we start to cut the grass. So we've got the choke on there. So we put the engine brake lever in to take compression off the engine, and we pull. Now bear in mind this hasn't been started before, so it might take a couple of pulls. When it does fire up, what we do is just put the choke lever down just a little bit so that it doesn't choke up too much. So we're just going to move the lever down a little bit off the choke. So here we go. And there you go, runs as sweet as a nut. So from now on, when we start it, it's just the choke and away we go. Just one final thing. You've got your owner's manual and your engine manual here. So they need to be put somewhere safe, because that tells you all about operating the mower for the future. And there's also a spark plug socket for when you need to take the spark plug out. So keep those safe and then you are ready to mow. So enjoy your Cobra mower and happy mowing.
Remember to register your Cobra online at www.cobragarden.co.uk, and always have your Cobra serviced regularly. Check the website for your nearest dealer.